All right, what's up, everybody? Juices Loose podcast number 198. We're here to talk about E3 2018 post mortem. we'll yeah, we got to cover a lot because last week I couldn't make the Monday podcast to kind of bridge the gap halfway in between, so we didn't have to talk about everything at once. But we're just gonna get right in. We got tons of to cover. I don't want to go. We're not gonna go game by game or basically just give Microsoft a score. What were your highlights type of stuff. So Clocked It can't be here. He's on, as he says, on holiday with his family. He doesn't have good Wi-Fi, so the original, not the OG original, but the for about 2-year original Juices Loose crew, we're going to get in right now. So yeah, let's start. All I can say about EA is they had one of their EA Originals games looks pretty cool. That Sea of Solitude.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Sea of Solitude. I love the passion from that developer.
Yeah, that looked really cool. So that's the only thing.
So damn nervous. I felt bad.
But that looks like a really cool game. I'm interested to see more of it. But a lot of those games look really cool, and then they come out, and I see people play it, and I'm like, yeah, the gameplay just ain't there for me. But that definitely is the only thing I feel worth mentioning.
I do want to give a special shout out to Unravel too, just because Unraveled. That was another EA Originals game, and apparently it did well enough to justify a sequel. And then the fact that it was out that day, although I don't think that was the smartest decision on EA's part, because it pretty much got buried under every other E3 announcement.
Pretty much,
yeah, which is weird.
Which I feel bad, because I feel like that I was glad to see that developer get the shine, but it was like, well, I don't think many people are going to play the game because everyone's kind of focused on the other conferences.
You know where they would have played it at?
Don't do it. I knew it. He was over there waiting with his hands.
Even the developer said that they would like to have it on Switch. They just don't have the resources, i.e. EA's not going to give them money to port it.
Yeah, because it would cost too damn much.
I mean, they even mentioned the colored. They got the blue and red.
The Joy-Cons.
And it's like...
did they see my tweet? Because I was pretty quick. I was pretty quick with that. I was like, wait a minute.
That's one of the reasons why I know it's like T's probably gonna say something.
Well, it's not the developers' fault. It's EA, demons of the video game industry.
Well, it's weird because I played Unravel, and then the fact that I saw Unravel 2, I was like, all right, cool. And then all of a sudden it said out today. I'm like, oh shit, but I can't get that right now, man.
You're at E3.
Yeah, wait a minute. That doesn't work for me. So I mean, I don't know.
Everybody that was actually at E3. Sorry.
Unless you were Ghost Robo, who apparently brought his PS4 Pro, and Xbox, and every console. Like, I don't even know if I believe that.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
If you had your Switch, you could have downloaded it.
Why would you bring PS4 Pro to E3? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't really need. Yeah, I brought my Switch.
Carrying all that shit around.
I'm suspicious of people. It's hard for me to believe people.
Just naturally.
Dude said he got. And maybe this is true. I mean, if it's true, I feel bad. But apparently, $10,000 worth of equipment stolen at E3. But why would you bring your PS4 Pro to E3 when you're going to be there for 3 days? That's just.
Wait, Ghost Robo got robbed? Is what you're saying?
His hotel got broken into or something. I missed how it got stolen, but I'm thinking
he apparently was going to play like one of those games that got a media thing, and then in his car was all his shit, and he showed like footage of it like broken the glass. Like,
yeah. Oh, man. I guess, does he live in LA though?
No, he doesn't live in LA though.
Did he have all his shit laying in his car that everybody could see what was in his car?
You got no tinted windows?
I mean, if it's $10,000 worth of stuff, I don't know how you hide that in a car.
Cover
in the trunk or something.
In the fucking trunk?
With a blanket or something.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what.
I didn't know. I don't want to go into that, but I just I don't even know where that came from, but because Robert said he wasn't gonna play Unravel 2, but yeah, I mean, if it was legit, I mean, that sucks, but still, like,
hey man, if you really got robbed, my bad.
You got robbed. That's on you, dumbass.
Dumbass for bringing a PS4.
Wow,
the E3.
I mean, I have no sympathy if you have a car full of equipment, and people see like the PS4 on the window and shit. It's like, come on.
Hey, listen, if I just lost 10 grand worth of stuff, you know what the last thing I want to hear is, you should have got your shit, kept your shit in better. It's like I've already lost 10 grand worth of stuff.
Does he think he can play that portably? Is that why he brought it? It doesn't have a screen on it?
I'm very confused about the PlayStation and Xbox. The Switch makes sense. I don't understand the PlayStation.
Yeah,
it
sucks
for the pack seats with my fucking camera equipment, and it was at least $5 grand worth of stuff, and it never got stolen. It's amazing. Yeah. It just, you don't have it where people can see the shit. Like, I don't understand.
Bad things happen. But anyway, let's get back on track. Anyone have any other thoughts on E3 or EA?
That wasn't good.
Yeah, that's
hey, I think it was the worst.
Even if you were there,
I agree on that one. Can we? Can I quote the guy, the fucking Madden kid who came out there, who was they were talking about the tournaments that they were doing for Madden. And he was like,
the grandma pants.
Yeah, he was like, I could have went to graduation, but I decided to go to the Madden tournament instead. I mean, I graduated, but I got that money though. So
the way it was said was really
unbelievable.
I didn't even listen to that.
I just such a piece of shit. It was really so funny. Awkward.
Like that girl interviewing the Star Wars developer, like it was just terrible. So
working on a new game, guys.
What was that?
Oh yeah, what the hell happened there?
Terrible. And I got to give Rob a Rule 2 credit because you know how he's Mr. Positive, and sometimes it just drives me crazy, especially Star Wars stuff. He was like, I think he said that was one of the worst press conferences he ever seen. I was like, thank you, Rob, for actually seeing that, because in the past I've thought that, and he's like, 9 out of 10, and I'm like, no. But yeah, he was like,
it was trash.
It was absolutely embarrassing. The people didn't even, some of the fake cheers, is all you had was fake cheers. There was no real cheers. So
it was, just really painful. I just don't get why they do it even. I don't get it.
So let's move on. Microsoft, I believe, was the next one. And it's, I can see why people really loved it. I thought it was okay. And the issues I had with it, and I know some people try to challenge me on my juice opinions, but first of all, it's 2 hours, which, 2 hours of games, that's fine. But I just feel it was too long. And world premieres are great, like that Sekiro or whatever, the From Software game. How do you say that, Terrell? Or
Sekiro?
Sekiro.
Yeah, Sekiro.
The Shadows of
that
Shadow Die Twice.
That was like my number 3 game of show from out of all of E3. Like that moment was awesome. Not knowing that game existed, not being a fan of From Software and seeing a game, I was like, wow, that looks awesome. Something like that's great. It just, as far as for Xbox, how is that great for Xbox? They got the game, but I'll be playing on my PS4, if I play it. So it's weird for me to judge Microsoft getting all these games and all these trailers, and then some were just like Battlefield 5 1-minute CGI trailer, some were games we already knew about. So, but at least they committed to, I would say the best thing about Microsoft, they committed to gaming. They didn't show me that, hey, we're getting out of gaming. They showed me, hey, we're getting back, we're going full-fledged this time. We're gonna buy studios that make good games. We're gonna make sure be their next generation. I don't care about we're gonna be the most powerful. We're gonna make sure we're the most powerful. Like that stuff, I don't care. But it was nice to know that they're still in it, and they're recommitting at the end. I think that kind of was a nice touch. So overall,
for me,
I'm gonna give it a quick score, and then you can go. I first gave it a 6.5, but then after watching the rest of them and thinking about it, I'd say I'd probably give it a 7. Like they showed games, and the one thing that was just weird to me, they didn't mention the Xbox One X. I don't think even one time in that 2 hours, which was weird. So anyway, Retro, what were you saying?
Well, at first, I had scores written down for everything, but then with EA, you didn't mention it, so I figured we weren't going to do that. But I had scores too, and for Microsoft, it's like, at least compared to last year, they showed games. They showed a lot of games, and it was cool and it was entertaining to watch. But I saw Square, I saw Capcom. You saw almost everything that wasn't Microsoft. So I can't score them for a Microsoft conference when I think the only thing we saw from them was Gears and Forza, like great. And I'm not even counting Halo because we didn't see Halo. We saw like an engine test or whatever the fuck that was. So it's like I liked what I saw from them, but nothing was actually from them. So personally, I put Microsoft on a 5. They're like in the middle because they didn't bring anything, but they showed some nice shit.
They had 18 exclusives. Didn't you see the graphic?
I'm so tired of them doing that shit.
And didn't they say exclusive before the near port? I swore that said exclusive because
No.
I
It
swore
couldn't have.
No, but they used something new. Like,
Unless they're talking about like the gold edition that includes the DLC, maybe.
Exclusively not coming to Switch.
and then it said available. Said available in Xbox Store, and according to OJ, it's digital only. On that.
Really?
It's digital only, yeah.
Really? Why even do that?
Well, I mean, people are gonna buy it digitally.
Well, I
Nobody
wouldn't do
shit
that.
anyway. Xbox fan ain't buying
So I
that
was
shit.
gonna the way I would judge Xbox's conference. The Xbox did the very best for an Xbox conference. That and that's kind of a sad state of affairs, but that is the reality of their situation as of right now. They literally can only do what they did this E3, which is why a lot of people gave them the credit, because it was like you did literally the best you could possibly do in your situation. The problem is that's not really great in comparison to what other companies have already done. Like the best of Xbox, I would argue, was this E3. The best of like Nintendo and Sony would blow theirs out of the water.
Yeah, blow that shit to Kingdom
So
Come.
the problem is that, and I know, and one of the things I want to really quickly address is the whole, we got 5 studios, guys. We got like 5 or 6 studios. We're committed to making games.
We get to show you no game.
I understand why that shit's important. The problem is that to me, that won't be relevant for the Xbox One. That'll be relevant for the next console.
Yeah.
Because if you talk about acquiring all these studios and you have not shown me any games or even teasers of games, that more than likely tells me you just got them. They're either just starting to work on anything, and that will more likely, and if they're smart, to put it on the next console.
They will. It's going to be there for launch second year. They had to do that though. Like I think you just said that.
I know.
They had to do it because if you listen to these Xbox podcasts, these dudes, oh my god, what's happening to Xbox? They're just becoming a service only system. That's all they care about is the services. So they had to let you guys know that yes, we still care about first party games, and we got to go out here and invest in that. So
that's what I thought too. It's like you have like, I think they're realizing that people keep saying they have no games.
Yeah.
So they showed what they always do, and now they're like, okay, we know we have no games. We don't have them now, but they're gonna come like in like 5 to 10 years. You know, that's kind of like because all these studios. It's like you guys said, they bought all these studios. But yeah, I believe what Terrell said. They bought them like a week ago. So now they're gonna have to start making games.
Well,
I'm sure
the
Theory
trippy thing
was
is,
working on something.
Well, the trippy thing is, I looked it up and I saw that like a few of the studios have already made like games for Xbox. Like I think it's the Forza Horizon team.
Yeah, that one
the
was.
Forza Horizon team.
People act like that's some big deal. Like they were already making.
I just want to put it out here. I was shocked. I thought they already had the development studio.
Me too. I thought so too. I didn't know that.
That didn't make sense to me. You tell me these guys have been making Forza Horizon for so long, and they didn't own the studio.
Yeah, that to me that makes it 4 studios of significance because they're already getting exclusive games from that studio. That
didn't make any sense. And also, it doesn't mean much because we're already getting Forza Horizon.
But they're making apparently a new game, and I want to point out 2 things in the chat. Tunic, I've seen a couple people mention Tunic. That's coming to PC. I don't know if it's Steam or Windows 10, but acting like that's one of the exclusives. Well,
there's no real
I think
exclusives,
you can get that on pre-ordered on Steam already.
Let me see if it's on Steam.
The
other thing is 3 Gears games, guys. We're getting 3 Gears games. First of all, the other 2, no one's gonna give 2 shits about. I mean, seriously, the pop
one,
Funko Pop one. No one. I know that was kind of funny. I actually laughed at that. The way they troll people like that. But what if Nintendo had 3 Mario games announced at their Direct? What would people be saying? oh, fucking milking Mario. But now we got 3 Gears games after 4 just came out, what, a year and a half ago?
Also, Tunic is on Steam, but it doesn't come out until next year.
All right. So to me, that's funny. Like they're hyping up 3 Gears games.
You know what the problem with that
out of your
is?
50, 2 of them are 2 Gears games that no one's going to care about. So
Yeah, actually, if we wanted to go down that list, not the whole list, but just mentioning the list, the 18 exclusives, one of them was an update to Sea of Thieves. The other one was a DLC for Cuphead. Like how? Oh, look at my exclusive, guys. Well, I'm like, guys, you're literally it's just updates the games that are already out, which is fine. But it's that same Xbox is out there trying to beat their chest about something that isn't really that important in the first place.
I seen people touting 50 games. They showed 50 games. Well, one, like I said earlier, was a minute-long Battlefield 5, the worst trailer for that game, period, that we've seen. 22 of them were indie, like sizzle reels for a bunch of games I seen at like for Switch, and they're like promoted for Switch a while back. So really, there was about, I don't know, under 30 games, 30 genuine games shown that were like significant. But then you had like Metro. That looked pretty cool. But again, another multi-plat we already seen. Like, I mean, if you really want to just strip away to the highlights, the games that really impressed me, you know, that's kind of where I narrow it down. I don't fall for the number of 50 because I'm just like the 18 exclusives. It's not it's not just 50 games. Boom. Like it's just, you can't just throw that number out like it's impressive when some of them are just terrible little trailers and like you said, DLC for Cuphead, and which I'm sure Cuphead fans will like to know that there's DLC coming. But
you know, my problem with that is shit doesn't come out till next year. Why? It's I'm so angry with this because it's such a delay, because that game will have been out for what, 2 years by the time that DLC comes out. That just seems really long.
For Cuphead?
Yeah, because it comes out next year. It comes out 2019.
I
Go ahead, Robert.
Understand that, like the fact that every time they say the 18 exclusives or whatever, it's like, dude, technically it's 0 exclusives. They really don't have one exclusive because everything's on PC. So it's like, if you wanted to play, if you didn't have an Xbox, you could still play those games, which means it's not an exclusive. And it's just like, I just don't get it. I just don't get, like,
yeah, Grimpachi's challenging. Oh, gamers like games. Well, we're focusing on their deceptive nature that Microsoft likes to do. They like to say 18 exclusives. We're harping on that. I like that that there was a bunch of games that I'll be picking up on my PS4 or in my PC. Like, there's some pretty cool games shown, but the fact that they continually try to deceive the casual gamer who might see that 50 games, 18 exclusives, and it tells me you think we're stupid. Like, you think that saying the word exclusive in front of a trailer for a game I know is multi-plat or on PC on Steam, that is not exclusive.
And that's the same thing. Everyone always likes to say, "Oh, well, console exclusive." Well,
then say console exclusive.
No, but that still makes no sense when you have to add a word in front of it. It's just not exclusive. You're just stretching the truth of what an exclusive
just say,
is. It's not exclusive. Period. That's just not it. It's on multiple platforms.
I don't mind the console exclusive because then hey, if you want to play this and you don't have a PC, you have to have an Xbox or PlayStation.
But vice versa, it's the same thing.
I do on Xbox and PC.
I do want to be fair here. Because, I mean, look, if you're already an Xbox One owner, then this was great for you. I understand.
Yeah, there's a ton of games. You know, Microsoft, Xbox always gets all the third-party support except for a few Japanese studios. So you know that you don't have to worry. It's not a surprise. Oh, wow, we're getting this game. Like, you're getting the game.
Here's the kind of the nail in the coffin here. When people on Twitter after that conference were going around saying Microsoft had a great conference, I'm still not going to get an Xbox One, though, because I don't need it. But it was a great conference. That's not good, because the whole point of the conference is to sell your product, which you can't sell because nobody has any interest in buying it. The other thing,
it's not a bad video game conference. It was a really good video game conference for a fan of video games. But I'm judging it as an Xbox conference, as Microsoft trying to get me to get an Xbox One. That's how I've always viewed any of these press conferences. So in that regard, that's why I gave it a 7. Just judging it based on video games, and then yeah, it's probably like a 9.5. But
Yeah,
for Microsoft, it just did nothing to say, hey, you need an Xbox. That's how I'm doing.
Real quick, I was looking. I went up and looked up the other developers. I found out one of the other developers that they bought is the developer for that We Happy Few game. Yeah, which I'm still shocked hasn't come out yet. I don't know why. I feel like this is like the second or third time we've seen it, and I thought it was already out. Apparently not. So essentially, the developer and I looked up to make sure We Happy Few was like Xbox only. Oh, it's not. It's also a multi-platform. So the other developer, which I don't really count, is this one for We Happy Few, because they're still working on a game now that's going to be multi. So it's like if they're going to start anything, it's not going to be until after this game comes out in like the next few months, I believe.
And one other thing. If you buy it on PC, they're still making money. Not when I buy Tunic on Steam. What is Microsoft going to make off a Steam purchase?
Exactly.
I mean, using their operating system.
I know some people judge E3 differently, conferences, but I just told you how I judge it. I judge it as, hey, this is Xbox. You're trying to sell me on an Xbox. That's how I've always done it. But T, I know you were out for a little bit. You got any thoughts on Microsoft?
Yeah, I started talking bad about him, and Microsoft turned my lights up. They're into everything now, folks. Yeah, I thought it was a good conference. Like I said, it was probably a great conference if you were already invested. You're a Microsoft Xbox fan. I think you were pretty satisfied walking away from that. But like you said, it didn't really do anything to convince anybody who didn't have an Xbox yet to get one, and that might be the case for other console manufacturers we're going to talk about later. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good conference. It respected my time for the most part. They gave you game, they gave you game, they gave you game, and they didn't spend too much time on BS. So I at least enjoyed it while I was watching it. You know, but it didn't really.
I wish the Game Pass stuff would have been not there, but that's probably the only.
Yeah, maybe that was the only.
Sea of Thieves again.
Nobody cares about Sea of Thieves. Even the people who bought it.
We're gonna have to move on to Ubisoft.
Okay, that's fine.
But I want to get anybody else got a score they want to give it, and then like highlight games from Microsoft's. So let's start with Terrell.
Fuck. I think I leaned around like a 6.5 or so. I think right now I'll put it at like a 7. Now, when you say highlight from the conference, are you talking like any game they showed, or you mean specifically?
Yeah, it can be any game shown during the Xbox conference.
Probably Devil May Cry 5. That was probably the biggest shock to me because it actually looks like Devil May Cry, and I'm very surprised. I'm also it's that whole Capcom will fuck up, but then they do good shit, and I'm conflicted. So that was probably one of my games.
Anything else?
Jump Force got me pretty excited, although I'm toning that back due to the reality of what that game might actually be. Tales of Vesperia that's the one thing I will give them credit for. They showed a lot of anime games. I'm very surprised because they usually don't show a lot of Japanese games. So I like the fact that they gave Tales of Vesperia and Jump Force and even Kingdom Hearts any screen time. Kingdom Hearts obviously because it has a release date. We're almost there, guys. We just so yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right, Robert, did you have a chance to watch the actual Microsoft in its entirety?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought it was really damn good, and I would give it an 8. And my highlight was the Sekiro Shadows Die Twice for sure. I like that. The way that looks is pretty damn cool, and yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
All right, Retro. I think you already said a score, but you didn't. I didn't.
Yeah, like I said, I give it a 5. Like I said, like I had a lot of fun. It was a great there were a lot of awesome games, but there's just not a lot of Microsoft. If you remove Microsoft from that whole thing, nobody would have guessed it was actually a Microsoft conference, you know. So I give it a 5 because I did like what I see. My highlight was I think they were the ones that showed Cyberpunk.
Yeah, they showed the not really the gameplay, but the
no, even though it was a CGI trailer, like that is my kind of universe. I think with Clocked I talked about it here and there that I've always wanted to see like this like Fifth Element kind of GTA kind of shit, and I feel this game can give me that. So I have hopes for this. So that was definitely my highlight.
You don't feel like too. Yeah, you don't feel like first person is down. That was a downer for me. I was like, what? No, not FPS.
Wait till
it doesn't matter to me too much.
I was just wondering why that was behind closed doors. Gameplay demo.
That bothered me though, yes. That made no sense for anything. Even marketing, whatever, like you show some people and then they can describe it to others. Fuck that.
Especially when people seem to be really impressed by it.
You know another game they did that with? Star Fox Zero.
Uh-oh. So T, what was the highlight games? I mean, up to 3, I think, if you got that many.
Highlight the conference flowed well. I liked it. I guess Halo reimagining, whatever it's gonna be, whatever that game is supposed to be.
That game engine test demo.
They said it was a game, so
They said the game, but
it's that engine test on the footage.
Right in the front is basically the same thing as the Legend of Zelda on Wii U tech demo.
Well, I guess, but they announced a Halo game.
Yeah, it has a name. So, I mean, it does have a name.
So, I mean, if I'm picking that, you kind of see where I'm coming from here. Because nothing else. I mean, Cyberpunk as well, but.
Oh, yep, but that
I'm gonna. I want it to be one of their games, you know, to give them like highlight. I can't give them highlight cred for somebody else's game, you know.
Well, they found Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I believe they're
Ori. Yeah, Ori.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Was kind of a surprise. I was surprised that it's even being made. I forgot about it because there's just so many games. You know? So. But yeah, that would be my. And the score would be. I also gave them a low score. I think I gave them 6.5 initially. I'm bumping it up to a 7.5. It could have easily been an 8.5 had they said Perfect Dark, blah blah blah, or
Banjo-Kazooie or something.
Banjo-Kazooie, or even like Jet Force Gemini. Like, oh yeah, you guys get a 9 out of 10.
What's always funny to me, and I've said this like twice now because I've done a couple Juice opinions, is people compare finding out there's another Halo or finding out there's another Gears to finding out that Metroid Prime is coming back after what?
Yeah,
how many
that's
years?
the same thing.
Since 2007 or something, like 10 plus years. Like the amount of surprise for another Halo game is 0. Like there's no surprise to anyone
because we knew it was coming.
That to me is the difference. And if you watch my live reaction, I didn't get that excited for Metroid Prime 4's title card.
The closest thing they would have to that would be like Fable. They would announce like Fable or something. That's another game everybody's expecting. No. And they
Battletoads seems kind of
Battletoads, but I think that's almost been too long. There's too many generations. I think too many generations.
I think what hurts is that we didn't see anything from it.
Well, we know it's going to be a 2D game.
But I was like, that's cool, you know. I wasn't a huge Battletoads fan, but I could understand a Battletoads
I never really played
being hyped. But I think what I meant was too many generations of gamers never played Battletoads, so I don't think that had enough. That's what I meant when it's been too long.
Super Nintendo last time we saw
it. Also wasn't like a super high tier game to begin with. It was like it was cool.
Yeah, it was just like it was a cult game. It wasn't like it was some big.
I don't know a lot of people.
I don't trust all these Battletoads fans. I don't trust these dudes.
I don't know if any of them actually finished the game.
Ass frogs, man.
They actually beat the game, you know. But
no, you didn't beat. That was some hard ass shit to beat. First of all,
I mean, just getting back to where was Metroid fans at? We had all we knew about was Federation Force had come out that previous year. That's where the Metroid franchise was. We didn't know about Samus Returns. We didn't know that. They were going to continue the Metroid Prime series. If anything, I thought they would start with a new spinoff. And then we had Other M, which no one.
Well, you can go back before that. You can go from, oh my God, Super Nintendo, Super Metroid greatness to like a whole entire console generation with no Metroid in 64.
So I think people love to bring up that. But like again, watch my live reaction.
It's not the same.
I uploaded it like 3 months ago. I was like, oh shit. Oh, they're not gonna show gameplay? Damn. Like, that was it. I wasn't like, oh my god. Like I'm happy that the
Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon. Chill out.
I'm happy
to chill out. All right.
I was happy to know
that
they were going to continue the Prime series. I was happy, but they didn't show it in my. Maybe some people, but anyway,
I did. I wanted to throw in
some people will get that reference.
I'm going to just throw in this last one. I promise. I'm done. Last quick kick in the shins. I was looking up. Since I was already looking up some of the developers they bought, I said I went ahead and looked up another one, Undead Labs, and I was like, oh, I wonder what these guys have done. Oh, well, they did some pretty recently. They put out State of K2, and I was like, what? What? You didn't already own this studio? What?
Why would you want to own that studio? Have you seen State of Decay?
Why would you?
It's got 2 million players. Come on. But that's just again.
This is really not appealing when you break this shit down. That's what makes me mad.
That's the 50 games, 18 exclusives, 15 world premieres, 5 acquisitions. One's the Forza Horizon team, which I already thought they knew or owned. The other is made State of Decay, which that they don't have it's not like a huge studio that's going to be developing AAA games. What was the other one that was like?
The We Happy Few. We Happy Few.
Yeah, the We Happy Few. But anyway, my highlight, Ori and the Will of the Wisp looks absolutely phenomenal. Like it's my most anticipated game next to Smash. It just blew me away. They took that art direction to like another level. It's almost some of the 3D stuff going on. Like it just. I can't wait to play that game. So that was definitely my highlight from Microsoft. Horizon 4 actually looks like a pretty fun game. I'm a little skeptical of every car you see is a human, because all I know is people like to troll and be idiots online. So I'm worried that wouldn't be a great experience, but still looks like a pretty cool. I like the setting and is it Europe or UK? I forget the exact location. Looked great. And Sekiro, that was actually that and Ori were my 2 standouts. And then I was surprised that Horizon 4 looked as good as it did. Like I actually, not just from visuals, but actually looked like a fun.
Juice, did you like the leaves falling down on the audience?
that was like shall I say what's the name? Nintendo Land territory there.
Yeah.
With the balloons and shit. Like, what are they doing? Right
now? But there was some other smaller like indie games in the sizzle reel look cool, and some games that already had looked cool, but seeing them again, and I thought Metro actually looked like a pretty cool first person game. I never played any of those, but
Metro always, those Metro games, they always the
gameplay of this looked really cool.
They always show well, but I go to play them and it's like, it wasn't as great as I thought.
Yeah, so
the last 2 have been like that for me. I'll just tell you that. So,
but then we had Bethesda.
Yeah,
and let's just do score, the highlight moment, and some quick thoughts. We'll save retro for last. I'm gonna go. I gave Bethesda a 6.5. And the reason, even though I thought presenters were fairly entertaining, I like the Andrew WK that was just out of nowhere. Like I didn't know the dude was still making music. Cool. Everybody seemed to be enjoying themselves, like having a good time, passionate about their games. But when I really broke it down, Rage 2 was meaty, worth seeing, worth showing. Like that was a really good reveal of the gameplay. And then basically like a 10-15 minute thing on Fallout 76 and some that was the meat for me. Everything else was kind of Was a mobile game, was update here or there, was fluff. No Switch game. I was a little disappointed by that. And then a couple, hey, these games are coming years down the road announcements. I just feel like even though it was entertaining, I didn't feel like I wasted my time like watching it. The presenters pausing after every sentence, waiting for an applause, and the fact that it was just felt pretty unnecessary. Like Rage 2 could have been at Microsoft or Sony, and then Fallout, maybe could have had its own little video later. I just feel like they don't really need to be there. And I was really disappointed with Doom. We know Doom 2 was going to come. That was like as obvious to me as the next Halo game. And to not have anything to show, oh, wait till August for QuakeCon, I was like, fuck you. So that's how I felt. And then the Fallout Shelter, oh, we got a mobile game or that little free game coming to Switch, So that's just where I was with it. But Rage 2 is my E3 game of show. And so I guess I should maybe bump them up just for showing that and having that game. But the rest of it just felt like, why did they have their own conference? I don't think they're big enough yet to have their own conference. So that's
you
it.
think who's big enough?
Bethesda, like a couple small little things and 2 little meaty gameplays, and then everything else was just kind of either a quick trailer or hyping up.
Yeah, they're ready to do it. If EA has any right to do it, that's for them. But.
Yeah, because Ubisoft showed how, in my opinion, shows how a third-party developer and publisher should do an E3, but we'll get to them next. So that's my take on Bethesda. Robert, you were there. You probably have a little different opinion. You were in the audience, so go ahead.
So, I mean, I don't know if that makes it biased, but I thought it was fucking awesome because
you're biased.
because I was there, it was so damn cool. It was like a 10, dude. To be fair, to be real, probably like still it is like a high 9, honestly. I really did enjoy it a lot. Because I thought they brought the goods, man. They brought everything people really wanted, and having once Todd Howard came out and everyone's cheering, and when they showed the Elder Scrolls 6, the hype, everyone's like, oh, oh, oh. It was very loud in that place. You should have heard it. It was really cool.
I feel that's gonna be a next.
And they fed me, dude. They fed me. They had food there.
Oh, you super biased. They gave you something to eat too. Oh, hell to them.
Who here thinks Elder Scrolls 6 going to be on PS4, Xbox One?
No one.
I think it will be. It will be.
Well,
I think it's a next gen title. The way they show
it might be cross gen. It could be cross.
Yeah, I think
that kind of shit is like on 360. That shit is going to be on current gen consoles. I honestly think they're going to try to put that shit on the Switch even.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, maybe. And like, what I will say also is that and I also really enjoyed the Fallout 76 stuff because
put it on the Switch. The Switch can't even handle Dragon Ball FighterZ. Oh wait.
I was trying to look through comments of last year's. I swore people were saying the Switch could run that.
Oh, they were. They were talking about. Oh, look at those particle.
Look at the speed of it.
Look at the speed. Can't handle. Yeah, okay.
Can't even tell that it's the Switch version. Like it's so almost identical. But anyway,
armchair technicians is hilarious.
What'd you, Robert? What was your highlight?
Damn, there's a good amount, to be honest. That's what I'm saying. I really enjoyed it. But I'm gonna say Fallout 76.
Man, I've seen nothing from that told me that's a game.
Boring.
Like the whole build like your little base thing. Like to me, that's, I don't know. Maybe that's fun to play.
What I like
you got to be a Fallout.
I think it'll be fun to go back to the Fallout world. I think it's gonna be fun.
But it's not just that. Yeah, I personally like the Fallout world too. The post-apocalyptic shit always like that. And the thing that I loved so much about this one, and some people seem to have issue with this. I like it that you can actually fucking nuke people. You can literally be in a second after Fallout.
Yeah.
You can't get more Fallout than nuking people.
Doesn't it kind of defeat the purpose of the game? Is the idea of the game at least?
I was a little turned off by, even though they said you could play it completely solo. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of like the online only kind of community thing. Like, no thanks. But anyway, Terrell, you didn't give your thoughts yet on Bethesda. Go ahead.
No, I haven't. I was making fun of that conference the whole fucking time I streamed it. This shit was ridiculous to me because I didn't think it started well. I know that people disagree. The first thing that annoyed me was the fact that you have him out there singing, but not playing the footage of the game, and then waiting until he's done singing, then playing the footage of the game.
Let me point some out quick for non-rock and roll music fans. Andrew WK's a joke to like when his one song was popular.
Hardcore, yeah.
He's a joke to like rock and roll music fans and hard rock music. He's kind of a joke anyway. So just know that.
He's not.
Well, I mean, that's fine.
No one takes him seriously. He's not respected, and it was totally in a hipster kind of way. That's the only reason I thought it was funny to see him performing.
Well, that's right. I mean,
in khakis.
The way I knew him was because apparently the only reason why I knew of him wasn't even because of that. It was because of when Cartoon Network was doing a lot of live action shows. He was on one of those, and that's what I knew him from. But just to kind of skim through it real quick, I was making fun of the presenters almost the whole fucking time. A lot of them were just either except for probably Todd. Todd was probably he was the saving grace. I'll say that. Like everybody else, it was like the what was it? The giant dude and the shorter dude sitting there with the awkward pause.
That was really, like he was really nervous. The tall guy.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was just I just thought it was really awkward and weird with pacing. A lot of the stuff was just updates for games like Prey and the mobile game and the card game. The Doom Eternal, cool. Wolfenstein, I think that kind of shocked me because I didn't think I was going to get an announcement for that one, but all right, cool. Obviously, Skyrim, not Skyrim. Yeah, Skyrim 6. I'm and the problem is I don't care for a lot of Bethesda games, so it was kind of hard to judge it for me personally. I don't have any highlights because I really don't play any of these Bethesda games. If I had to,
so you're biased on the other end, then.
Yeah, but I'll say if I had to pick one, I guess I would say Doom Eternal just because I played Doom and I've liked Doom so far. If I had to give it a rating, it's hard because they did a lot for the fans. I know a lot of fans are happy about certain aspects, especially towards the end of the press conference. But I hated that fucking presentation. I didn't think that fucking Skyrim on everything joke was funny because it was so late and it was so
not lame. It was very funny.
Come on, people be making fun of Bethesda and their broken games and the whole supporting the Skyrim on everything joke.
And so there was some I thought that shit was funny. Man, you need to get this sense of humor. That Alexis shit was funny as hell.
It wasn't that funny.
It wasn't that funny, but I appreciate them making fun of themselves.
I mean, I can respect it, but I don't think it's that funny. So if I had to give them a grade, it'd probably be like a 7. I think that's where I'm at right now.
All right, T, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought Bethesda was pretty good up until Todd Howard came on down stage and slowed that shit down to a snail's pace.
I thought it slowed it down.
How I was feeling.
It was just like, oh man, come on. Like I thought it was flowing pretty well at that point. I don't know what was up with the whole Walmart thing. I mean, like you didn't have to show the game just because Walmart leaked it. You still could have kept that for E3, and then it would have been still more impactful when we saw it. But
yeah, I thought showing Rage 2 would have been
Rage 2,
so much better had I not seen the teaser and the other trailer before.
Yeah, so what? Walmart leaked it, so you can deny it. Who cares? Like it doesn't matter. Like
still looked phenomenal.
It looks great. Yeah, that was I will skip ahead. That was one of my highlights, as well as just hearing that they're doing a new Wolfenstein because I don't think it's sold. Wolfenstein 2, I don't think it's sold all that great. And for them to be we're doing another one, and I was like, that's cool. Like a lot of companies were just, we're done with that, and they move away from it. So, and obviously Doom, everybody loved Doom. It was pretty popular, so that was cool. But yeah, I just thought. I thought in the beginning it flowed pretty decently. I liked the fact that they were making fun of themselves. I like the NGWK thing because it's like I played Madden 03 on my GameCube. I just remember that fucking song coming on every 5 goddamn seconds. The party on. It's just every time I turned the damn game on, that was a song. I think he had a deal with them or something. Remember that song into your goddamn heads. You played that game. So
apparently the PS4 version of Wolfenstein 2 did over 1 million, so that's not
I mean, even we talking PS4 80 million, sold, and it did 1 million. Like, I mean, that's good that it hit over 1 million, but it should do way more than that.
Xbox One's tracking at 570,000.
Right, like
that's a hell of a difference.
Switch would probably be a couple.
Switch would probably be in the middle of it.
If they're lucky, if they 100,000, I think that would have to be a success.
Right. So anyway. Yeah, that for them to already commit to a new one, I think that's great. So Again, I thought the show was okay. I also give them a 7.5.
All right, now retro saved you for last. I know you love Bethesda, so go ahead.
Prepare yourself.
So I am ducking like some points because one thing I didn't like was that music shit in the beginning. That was like, I don't know, it felt more cringy than good, I guess. But apart from that, I mean, man, I gotta go into some of this shit because I'll give my score instantly. I give him, like, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Like, Robert is there with me. I'm giving Bethesda a 9.5. They were the best conference, I feel, of all E3 for many reasons. First off, you know, like, yeah, you got like updates, you know, your shit like Prey, your shit like Quake, you know, whatever. They showed Rage 2 gameplay and shit. We got new announcement like Doom 2 and shit, but I don't think not everybody was expecting and that kind of shit. But then you say, and I have issues with that, you say like they didn't show Switch, but they showed us Switch Fallout Shelter. They showed us Switch for Elder Scrolls Legends. You can count on the fact that Elder Scrolls Blades, Wolfenstein Youngblood, all that shit will be coming to Switch. Doom 2, I'm convinced it's going to come to Switch. They didn't say it there, but even without that, they have mentioned the Switch enough. And then, you know, let's not forget, like, they had like Starfield, which they announced, which I'm really excited for, like Bethesda dealing more into the outer space kind of shit. And then, I mean, come on, like, game of whole fucking E3. Like, people can say they were waiting for it, but I honestly felt that it was going to be 5 to 10 years before we're going to see this game because they've been so invested in Elder Scrolls Online.
Still could be.
We got Elder Scrolls 6 actually announced. And not just did we get a whole new game with the Elder Scrolls 6, they gave us a full-fledged new Elder Scrolls game. On top of that, the Elder Scrolls Blades, which is, they call it, it's meant for mobile.
That's coming to Switch.
Elder Scrolls Blades. The Elder Scrolls, I'm convinced that will also come to Switch Blades.
No, I thought
they already said it.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know, Retro. I feel like if this wasn't
thing.
Bethesda and a company announced mobile games coming to Switch and then a teaser for a game, I don't know.
But
feels like that's stuff you wouldn't have given past to.
Suspicious juice.
Yeah, I feel like that's things
I'm
you
a
would
little
get on
suspicious,
if Nintendo did. Like, seriously.
I can't just call Elder Scrolls Legends a mobile game because it basically looks better than old Skyrim does. It looks better than that. And not only that, the Elder Scrolls Blades is as much a full Elder Scrolls game as Super Mario Run is a new Super Mario Brothers game. It's basically it is a full Elder Scrolls game. So you get two fucking Elder Scrolls games announced. On top of that, yeah, you got gameplay for Rage, gameplay for Fallout, which I thought looked amazing. You got like Doom and all this shit, like, and all these new announcements. And they mentioned Switch several times, like, they didn't waste your time while giving you all that shit. Like, it was hard to do better, I feel, when it comes to Bethesda.
All right, that's fair enough. So what was so you're gonna give the Elder Scroll title card your game of E3?
No, Elder Scrolls 6. Fuck, I am a fucking massive Elder Scrolls fan. I love Morrowind to death. Is one of my favorite games ever. One of my top 10 favorite games ever. I love Skyrim. I'm still playing it after 200 hours. I love those games. Elder Scrolls 6 is something I've been waiting for like years already. Like, I cannot wait for that. And the way they showed you that little trailer, like, it made me think of like the first Lord of the Rings movie, you know, where they're walking over the mountains with the camera going over them and then the logo and shit. Like, I can't wait for this.
I saw that and I
didn't
said
show
that.
anything.
I said if that's anything what they're going for, I said that's my first thought, that's PS5.
The Elder
There's
Scrolls,
no way that's PS4 at that
because
level.
of what the teacher started to say, that he didn't show anything. The hype for this is just as legit as when they didn't even show a logo for Pokemon on the Switch. When they showed a logo for Metroid Prime 4. Skyrim is from 2011. That shit is like 7-8 years ago by now, that game. It's legit.
And how much did it sell? Nobody was worried about.
Compare that to Pokemon.
Nobody was.
How dare you, sir?
Pokemon, but nobody was worried. Nobody's worried about. Was worried about Bethesda making a new Elder Scrolls because the last one sold phenomenally. So it's not the same thing as hearing Metroid coming.
I mean, if that got you excited, that got you excited.
No, I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying that comparison doesn't work for me. That comparison.
And I didn't get excited for Pokemon announcement, but I know some people were counting 2018 before Let's Go was revealed. I know there's some people like, oh, the last half of 2018, Nintendo's got Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Yoshi. Anyway, we'll get to that later on.
Yeah, but I was like, you're jumping the gun, buddy.
I know. So next up was my top conference of E3, and that's Ubisoft or Ubisoft, however you want to say it. But I gave it an 8.5. Even the Just Dance band stuff was at least entertaining. I knew it was for that stupid game that I'll never have and never will play. But still, I got to appreciate the choreography they put into that. That was better than Andrew WK singing that silly song. So it was a fun start. And then we get a series I love, Trials Rising. So I like that. We got Witch coming for the Switch. You had Star Fox announcing Starlink. I mean, no one saw that, even though it seems so obvious now. And then the only parts that really dragged down for me was the Rainbow Six Siege stuff, like that talking about the competitive stuff. But then the Donkey Kong, the band playing, like awesome. Started off with Beyond Good and Evil 2. I thought, I mean, yeah, it's not much gameplay, but it was I love the world they're creating. So at the very least, I was interested in the cinematic and the characters. I thought Jade looked awesome. So overall, I thought, man, I was like, damn, Ubisoft 2 years in a row, stellar show. And Miyamoto there, I think that probably helps sway me a little bit. And the dude, he didn't quite tear up, but the dude seemed a little bit emotional when he's talking about how they got Star Fox into the game. Starlink actually looks pretty cool. So that surprised me. The Crew 2 I already knew looked awesome. The other thing, Division 2, which I think was shown in Microsoft's first. Yeah, because of the fake chatter, the fake the team chatter. I haven't seen if anybody watches iZombie, the guy that plays Ravi, he even said, he's like, can we stop? He's like, if you're hiring actors for fake game chat for
voice actors and shit,
gameplay trailers and stuff, he's like, I'm available. So, but that was another. Microsoft shows the Division 2, then Ubisoft shows the Division 2. Like, so do I give? If you're excited about the Division 2, then who do you give the credit to? You know, so it's just weird. So, you know, there was a few things I didn't care that much about. I'm glad
give the credit to the person who paid for the not publishing deal, person who paid for the advertising rights.
Yeah, and I kind of wish Star Fox reveal had happened in Nintendo's thing, but it happened in Ubisoft, and I got to give them credit. So 8.5, the best of show, best conference for me at E3, and the highlights game. You know, the Mario plus Rabbids DLC I knew was coming, but to see what they were doing with it, that was really impressive. And I would say Trials Rising, just because I had no idea they were ever going to make another one of those games, and I really like those games, would probably be my standout. And Starlink, Star Fox, obviously. So let's go to Retro next, since you kind of go in the reverse order.
Well, for me, and you guys know, I'm basically the resident Ubisoft hater. For me, Ubisoft was my second favorite conference. I give them a fucking high 9. I love it how the only point I dog, and I say this every time, I hate it when they open with Just Dance. It kills my hype. But when that shit was over, like, and we know Just Dance is coming to Switch. And when that shit was over, you got Rabbids DLC for Switch, you got Trials for Switch, you got Starlink for Switch, you got Beyond Good and Evil, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like the Skull and Bones gameplay. There was so much shit. Like, when that Just Dance shit died, I had so much fun, and there was so many reveals and surprises. And I was already interested in Starlink. Like I said before, I've said it last year already. I'm a Skylanders fan. I like the Toys Alive ship. I seriously, even outside of the Star Fox ship, I can't wait to buy this little ship and put cannons on that on my controller and play that like a 5-year-old. I don't care. And then when you see the gameplay and you see the ship go, because I just thought it was going to be a ground shooter, you know, and that looked really interesting to me because we don't have enough shooters. But then you see them play this shit now, and they start in orbit and they go into the planet, and you're free roaming. You can choose between free roaming on the planet or grounded on the planet, and the way it looks so beautiful. This was my second game of the whole show. Like, they blew me away this time by something I already loved before. So solid 9, and Starlink was my game of the show.
And I gotta give a shout out to the Assassin's Creed, whoever this team is. I don't know what other games they made. I mean, I didn't really pay attention to the last one, the Egyptian one, Origins or whatever. Finally, the combat actually looks like fun to play. Like it looks cool. I don't know if it is to play, but they finally figured out the combat. So I was like, I probably won't play it, but at least it looks like they've learned and actually have some.
That was such a bad way of saying that, Juice.
I mean,
that's called a juiceism right there.
Maybe
It's a juiceism.
I might get it on PS4 someday. You know, who knows, for $20. But I like to see that. Like, wow, that combat actually looks cool. So is it fun to play? I don't know, but it's come a long way since Assassin's Creed 4 is the last time I played one, and I had to give them a little credit. That did look pretty good. And the Skull and Bones, I think, they put a cannonball right through Sea of Thieves, and sunk that looks.
I was thinking the same thing when I saw it. I was like, "Bye, Sea of Thieves." It's done.
I love it how Sea of Thieves, it looks kind of crummy, you know, and everybody's, you can't even customize your ship, so that's the first thing they showed in this game. Was so good.
Wow.
So let's go to Terrell. What do you think of Ubisoft?
It's weird because I was nowhere near as hyped about this.
Yeah, let's look at your level beforehand was a 7, so
it was a 7, and then I saw the Rayman, and they immediately just killed a lot of my excitement. But as far as the show, I was actually happy they did Just Dance in the beginning. Although I know we have to see Just Dance, and I'm never happy to see Just Dance. Is if it's in the beginning and we get it out of the way, it's fine. It was relatively short. They didn't even fucking dwell on it. They say, "Here's the release date. Boom, we're done. Fine." I don't give a fuck about the Division like at all. Beyond Good and Evil 2, I was conflicted because I hated the second year we see it, it's another fucking trailer, just another fucking CGI trailer, and I said, okay. I wish they had started with the gameplay personally and ended with the trailer, but that's just me. I didn't like the way that was set up. Trials, fine. I don't care about the crew. Didn't care about For Honor. Skull and Bones looks cool. Starlings looks cool. And honestly, I will say personally for me, Assassin's Creed, I actually think Origins looked like the better game versus here. That's just me personally. So they showed a good amount of stuff and covered their bases well, but I was not super engaged with a lot of their stuff. So for me, it's like, I probably would say for me, it's like a 7.5.
Not too bad. Considering what you had said, I thought I was waiting for a 5.5.
No. 5.5.
Should we
coming later? So
let's go over our Ubisoft predictions for games we thought we'd see or wanted to see. And Prince of Persia, a couple of us kind of hoped for, but Terrell was really all in with the new 2D Rayman.
God, I want it. So
he said Splinter Cell, which they didn't announce a Splinter Cell.
No, they didn't. That's what people were mad about.
Nope. I predicted they'd reveal Division 2, which they did. That was, I guess I didn't go out on a limb as to everyone else. Robert was like Rabbits Go Home, and Retro was like a 3D Rayman. So
I know how Robert feels so bad when he saw it.
Tells your ass to go home with that shit.
Honestly, that Mario plus Rabbids, the Donkey Kong, that little music piece, that was pretty awesome, especially when it hit on the original like country theme.
They brought Grant Kirkhope.
The fact that they brought him out, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, Robert, what was your thoughts on Ubisoft?
I thought it was fantastic, and I would give them an 8.5 because I thought they were really good, really great. And there's some games I don't really care for, like the Division, like the first Division I didn't care for, and so the Division 2 it didn't do anything for me. I don't really understand Beyond Good and Evil still. I don't really get it. And then I do really enjoy the Skull and Bones, and Starlink is really cool, and I did play it, and it is really damn cool. And so I'm definitely excited for that. And there's that VR game, Transference. So it's a horror game by Ubisoft, so a big publisher for a VR game. That I'll take it.
The only ones mentioned VR? I know Bethesda mentioned it, but as far as a game coming,
Bethesda talked about.
Yeah, 'cause they have
yeah, but that's the isn't the Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein is VR.
They're doing a VR Wolfenstein or something like that. And then Trials Rising, I really liked it. Just like you, I really like the Trials series. I think that's
Did
such
you
a
say
fun.
you played? Was Starlink the game you played?
Yeah, I did play
What
Starlink.
did you play it on?
I played it on the Switch.
Did it look as good on when you played it as what you see in the trailer? Because when I saw it on the trailer, I was like, damn, that looks really good. I wonder if it's going to look just as
It
good
is
on
really
the
good.
Switch.
I mean, it looked better, obviously, like on the TV than I thought it was on the handheld because it's smaller. It, it was great because I didn't have to have the control. Like that was my biggest problem with the whole Starlink is the ship on the controller. I'm like, dude, why do I need to have a damn ship on my controller when I'm trying to play? And obviously, that's not really possible. There had to be some way around it if you're going to play it in portable. And apparently, you don't have to play it with the ship on your controller. So I feel like that would have been obvious, but at the same time, we never really saw them without it. So it was cool to know that you don't have to have the damn ship on your controller because that to me it's a pain in the ass. There's this big ass thing in front of me. Why is this in front of me? I don't know. So I'm glad that's not. But it's very cool because it's like again, like I was in orbit and went down and I started shooting bad guys and stuff. I was like, dude, it's pretty seamless. It's really smooth and it's awesome. I can't wait for the game, Starlink. I think it's gonna be pretty damn good. That's probably definitely like my highlight.
And Fox has never looked better. I mean, Fox looked amazing in that trailer. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah, he definitely looks good. And it just sucks, man. Another year, another no rabbits go home.
All right. T, why don't you give us your thoughts?
Ubisoft was also my best of show. One of the things that I really liked about them is the variety of games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought they had the best variety of stuff out there. They looked really confident, yet they were very humble. They weren't assholes like EA, and they just had games that I actually cared about. I mean, obviously there was some that I didn't care too much about, like Division and whatnot, but they had games that I thought looked cool. Obviously, Beyond Good and Evil 2. I loved it at first, and I started hating it, and now I'm starting to love it again. Because it showed my girl Jade. They were playing games.
I love her character design too.
Right, they were playing games up until the end, and they finally showed her, so that was cool. I thought it was good all around. I thought it flowed well. I didn't care for the Just Dance stuff too much because, like you guys said, it was right at the beginning, and they got it out of the way. It seems like they understood the audience. It's like, don't play around with my damn time and respect my time. And I felt like they respected my time the most out of all the conferences. So thought they did very well. Best of show for me. I give them a 10. Fucking 10.
Whoa, really?
That's a movie quote. Varsity Blues for you movie heads out there. No, I give them a 8.5. I thought they did pretty well.
And I think that proves, like I said, like that EA, there's no reason EA can't be putting out that amount, like those types of games
why is
from
EA
different genres instead of 20 minutes of FIFA and a Battlefield or Battlefront game. It's like that's all they got. EA should be watching Ubisoft. You said they're confident and humble. EA is not. They don't really show confidence. They just show cockiness. And I kind of felt a little bit of that at some. Even though I did enjoy most of the Bethesda presenters, I did feel a little bit of arrogance. The whole our reviews were the highest reviewed based on Metacritic type of stuff, and I just think Ubisoft was like you said, they were more humble about it. So that definitely plays better to me as my personal taste. So all right, then we got the last two to talk about, and definitely the most controversial, polarizing. So it's gonna. I kind of want to talk about Sony, like the pacing and their choice to have that intermission. Obviously, we want to talk about that, but I also kind of want to just forget that and just kind of look at what they showed too. Like not just focus on the terrible decision to move the audience once and have a 10-15 minute intermission. That was just I'm sure they won't do that next year. That was terrible. So, who wants to start with Sony?
Well, I'll be fast for this one because I wanted to dig into that little intermission thing. I docked them a crap load of points for that. I give Sony a 6 in total because basically they showed what they said they were going to show, but they did it in such a terrible way. Each game they showed was a fucking walking simulator. You finally get. I'm doing quotation marks here. Gameplay of Death Stranding, and you see this dude walk, and that is literally all he does. It's like a fetch quest walking simulator, and it seriously, it looks bad from what I saw, from what I was expecting, from what they showed. That didn't look good. I did like the games they showed. I liked what they showed, but I didn't like how they showed it because each single game was the character just walking around doing one or two things. Those like fucking walking things. I hate it when they do that. I like for the gameplay trailers, and if you do it like this, have devs talk about it. Go actually in depth, and then they didn't do any of that. And then the worst thing that was that, oh, we're doing this new thing to show, which I think was the set that they had because it was the same set as the trailer of Last of Us start, for example, And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice. It's not a bad thing. But then you had this intermission, and you could tell that they didn't have enough time because these people were awkwardly stalling. They were actually stalling. They had no idea what to say anymore. They had nothing left to say. And I was like, oh shit, please don't tell me you're going to do this for every fucking game. Fortunately, they didn't. I think probably because of how bad it went. But all of that combined, the fact that they just showed those games, they were like Neo 2 or something, like maybe not big surprises. And then the way it was done, it was just... I gave them more than Microsoft because what you saw was Sony, but it became exactly what I was expecting. Like, I didn't enjoy it too much.
All right, so let's go to Robert next. Do you want to... Was there a highlight game, though, for you, Retro?
For me, even though I think it wasn't exclusive, I think the highlight game for me was either Last of Us, because I was surprised at Last of Us. When you're a kid, and you had like a game on, like, let's say PlayStation 1, and you see this cutscene, and then the game starts, and it looks super shitty and stuff. And what Need for Speed, the racing games, do is you have this cutscene, and the cars look really cool, and then all of a sudden you're playing actually the cutscene. And I feel Last of Us kind of did that, where the facial animations and everything looks so good, so beautiful. And I was like, oh wait, the dude's actually walking in game already. That seriously kind of surprised me. I think my show surprised, even though I doubt it's exclusive or anything, must be the Resident Evil 2 thing.
All right. Robert, go ahead.
So I was lucky enough to be able to skip all that intermission stuff because I saw it after the fact. But I still obviously will dock points for that because when I was skipping through it, I was like, whoa, it's still going. Whoa, it's still going. Whoa, it's still going. Like, that was pretty long. It's so weird that they did that. Like, people were like, oh, well, they wanted to set up the whole Last of Us thing. Well, but why? It's like, I don't know. It's just why, though. Like, it makes no sense. But whatever. Last of Us 2 looks awesome. Can't wait for that. Spider-Man is awesome. I got to play Spider-Man. It is fucking awesome, guys. It's a lot of damn fun. And the Ghost of Tsushima, I guess that's how you say it, right? Tsushima. And
Silent T.
So yeah. But that looks really damn good too. Like, I'm excited for that because I love my Sucker Punch. I love the infamous Second Son. I know it's not that favored from this group, but I really enjoyed Second Son. And I thought it was really semi-good. The podcast. The podcast. Hear me? The press conference.
Wow.
I want to give it. I'm gonna say 7. Because the way they handled it could have been way better. But I think overall they still showed a good amount of games that were like, yeah, I want to check out. And it also, they told us what it was, those games that they were going to show. They showed it and very lengthy. And,
What's that? No,
is somebody washing clothes?
I don't know.
What happened?
I see it coming up on anybody.
Yeah, that was Terrell.
What happened?
I don't know. You were.
It sounds like a washing machine.
Is it still going?
Nah,
it's done.
Oh, okay. All right, don't worry about it.
And, yeah, I thought it was good. And my highlight would be Last of Us Part 2. So I give it like a 7.
So two things I want to point out. Like,
I didn't get to go, damn it. That was fine.
yeah, I mean that if you watched it live, that intermission was terrible. I mean, it worked out for me because I got to get up and make something to eat because I was late to E3. I was running behind and everything, but it was a stupid idea. And the biggest, like, everyone talks about the intermission and like you said, the stalling. But Sean, was it Layden or whatever's the guy that come out to speak?
Yeah, Sean Layden.
He felt like he didn't plan anything. Like it was off the cuff, and he kept saying, "Oh, we're in this tent, you know, this church." Like he had nothing. You did all that. You put all that money into making it look like the scene from The Last of Us, the cut scene, and you had nothing but a few lame jokes about it being a tent and looking like a church and being this in a sermon or something. Like that to me was so cringeworthy. That guy they should hire somebody else from this point on to come out and talk, because he had nothing to say, and then during the intermission he had nothing to say. But that was just stupid. But if you take away that intermission, to me, it played just like the last two Sony E3s, minus the orchestra. You had the little performances for those two games, for Last of Us and for Ghost of Tsushima, which were they weren't great. Let's just say that they're unnecessary. But if you take the intermission and those little awkward performances out, it played to me just like Sony's last two E3s, which everyone loved. I think the orchestra really helped. And the lack of an intermission, obviously, but they did long gameplay of 4 games, and then they had, new announcements and I didn't think they were going to have any. So Resident Evil 2, and that had been kind of leaked, and people were talking that wasn't a very good kept secret, but it was a cool reveal trailer. And then Neo 2 had a reveal, kind of announcement, and then I don't know, there was a really dumb looking kind of like indie game that wasn't funny about the dude in the bathtub, but overall it played a lot like what they had done the last couple years. But where I really dock points is they kept saying, and the Sean guy kept saying, we're going on a deep dive. We're going deep, we're taking deep dives. I did not think the term deep dive just meant extended trailer. Like, to me, deep dive means like, talk to the developer. Hey, here's some concept art. Here's what we were thinking. Here's what we wanted to do over The Last of Us that we couldn't do because of the technology then that we can do now. Like, here's some improvements to the stealth mechanics or whatever. That to me would have been a deep dive. Showing me a 12-minute trailer is not a deep dive. It's just an extended gameplay or extended trailer, or cutscene. It wasn't really formatted in a trailer form. So to me, that's where they lose most of their points, was saying it was all deep dive beforehand, and then even after the Last of Us was shown, he continued to say deep dive, and none of it was a deep dive. So I gave them a 7.5 based on the fact that, as a fan of The Last of Us, I thought Last of Us Part 2, the actual gameplay, not the 3-minute cutscene beforehand, looked like such a leap in the actual gameplay as far as what you can do, what Ellie could do. I mean, Retro loves to exaggerate that you're walking around, but Ellie was barely walking around. She was running for her life and in combat situations. And to me, as someone who liked the game, I like, wow, none of that was in the last of Us.
Way too much bias shilling in this podcast.
So I liked the way they're taking it. And if you go off the first time they showed the first game, I was like, there's no way that's how the final product's going to be. And then they actually delivered on that, sequence they showed. It, the final product was spot on with what they showed. So I'm gonna give them credit that they're gonna deliver on what they showed this time, and showed a much faster pace, character where Ellie could run and jump, and we weren't so restrictive. And once you were seen, it wasn't just like, oh, you're dead, you're screwed, just die and start that section over. Maybe it will be like that, but I was very impressed with the gameplay. And then the Ghost of, I hate, some people, Retro, you said you studied Japanese. He says you say the T and the S, which my mouth can't do. So I'm just going to say Tsushima. To me, that's the next, like, Breath of the Wild as far as the game world they showed, the blowing grass. Like, that's, whether the gameplay is good, that was a wow moment for me. Like, that, holy shit. Like, he goes up on that hill and all that, the wheatgrass flowing, and it really wowed me. Like, it's not just raw visual or raw graphics, it's art direction. The final battle sequence, whether it turns out to be mostly a quick time event combat sequence, I don't know, but it looked a little more than that. It wowed me. So I liked what I've seen there. Death Stranding, I don't know. Me and T were like walking simulator. We posted at the same time in the
same
chat.
time.
But I will say, I was the world they've created. Seeing that, like, that's kind of some cool stuff. I wish it was like I was excited about the game, because what the world he's created kind of seems kind of cool, unique. Nothing, like it felt alien. At the same time, it felt like it could be Earth, type of thing. So I wish the game I had any confidence in the actual game, but. So overall, I thought they showed very similar to what they showed the last couple of years, some extended clips, some new games, and my highlights were Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, 2 games that I have no doubt at this point. I'm like, it's not like the God of War was like, oh, I don't know about that. These ones are like, wow, I actually can't wait to find out when they're coming out. So I got to give them credit for that, even though it's probably 2019 and nothing really this year other than Spider-Man. That's why I gave him 7.5. So, who's next? Terrell, go ahead.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So I would say between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, a little bit of spoiler alert here. I think Sony was the worst between those 3. Fucking pacing was bad, so I won't drag on that too long. Those are not deep dives. I completely agree with that statement. Showing me extended trailers are not deep dives. I looked online, Juice. You were like literally the only person I've seen who said Last of Us 2 looks different. A lot of people were just kind of like, yeah, it looks like Last of Us. And that's all I heard.
It looks like The Last of Us evolved. I mean, not saying it's a completely different genre now, but
no, not completely different genre. But people just said, it doesn't really look that much different in terms of gameplay for a lot of people. But
I thought that's pretty different.
But considering I didn't play Last of Us, I'm not gonna say anything personally. I wasn't super interested. Didn't really grab my attention. I don't understand the Ghost of Tsushima hype, especially when you had Sekiro come out like the damn day before. Because Sekiro just looks like a faster paced game. I will agree that all their games they show look pretty as fuck. But like, combat wise, I don't really see the hype for Tsushima. That's just me. What was the other one? I'm missing one. Oh, Death Stranding will eat a dick. Kojima wants to make fucking movies. Let him make movies and stop pretending like he's a game developer at this point. The man wants to make movies.
Not just movies, shitty college art movies.
Hey man, listen, listen. I'm not a filmmaker like you. I ain't got that experience, T. That's the point. The Nihon 2 announcement was cool just because it kind of came out of nowhere. Kingdom Hearts again. I love Kingdom Hearts, but this is the 3rd time you would have seen it at this point if you watch Xbox, Square, and PlayStation.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 looks fucking phenomenal. That shit, especially when I saw the demo later. God damn, that's one of my games. The show, and then the other one was probably Spider-Man. And the problem I have with Spider-Man is that I'm still excited for the game. I just don't. I wish they hadn't shown it like a few months before. Because although this was a new section, I'm like, I've already seen Spider-Man. We already got the release date for Spider-Man. So I'm not like super. I kind of, at this point, I'm like, I've had my fill of Spider-Man. Just give me the fucking game. I don't really need to see it again. And the other reason why I knocked this conference down is because this is like the 3rd time we've seen most of these games, except for maybe Tsushima, which is like the 2nd time, I believe. And Last of Us doesn't have a date. Hell, I don't even think at this point it has a year. Same thing with Death Stranding. Same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. The only games I think that had release dates was Neo 2 and fucking Kingdom Hearts. And I guess Spider-Man, but Spider-Man, we already knew its release date coming into it. My biggest knock that, okay, fine, this is what you said you were going to show. It wasn't really a deep dive. And you're not playing most of these games this year. For the rest of the year, the only game to look forward to based off of that conference, at least from Sony, is Spider-Man. And that's cool, but that's September. And we got from now to September, and then you also have it from like October to December until like January. So like, I can't in good conscience be like, oh, that was a great conference. And and the fact that they just been writing these games for 3 years. Like people got mad when people saw X again in 2015 from Nintendo, or Zelda. It was the same thing. It was like we already knew about these games, and you keep showing them, and we still don't know when they're fucking coming out. Spoiler: Zelda took another fucking 2 years before we got it. So I'm not giving Sony credit for showing me the same three or four games we've been seeing. So that was like a fucking 5 for me, man. Because although the shit looks nice, it was just like there's like 2 games I'm interested in, and one of them is a fucking multiplayer. So yeah, you don't get any. Your fucking movies don't save you today, Sony.
I will say that was the first time we saw Ghost of Tsushima or Tsushima.
Well, I mean that was the second time we
knew it existed, but
yeah,
I don't take away points for knowing a game existed and then seeing gameplay for the first time. We knew Smash existed, but seeing gameplay for the first time, is different than knowing it's a game that's coming out. So, and that was the first time.
Well, Tsushima it was the least offensive game.
We'll
anyway.
guarantee we'll see it next year. I think The Last of Us will be out June next year.
You okay?
But anyway, score, and we got to get to Nintendo yet too, so we're up against it.
So you're trying to put the pressure on me?
After I went way too long. Sorry.
I know about to say you're the one who fucking talked for like 10 minutes.
10 hours about a conference you ain't even liking shit. Yeah, Sony was lame. I was bored. Like I said, they thought they were, I don't know, it felt really hipsterish to me, that whole setup with we're going to do a tent. That's just so fucking corny.
Because that thing that they moved to was like, that screen was freaking amazing. I don't know why they didn't just start there.
They had up there playing an ancient flute or some shit.
I thought you liked music, man. I thought you loved music.
I just found that whole setup to be corny as fuck, dude. Anyway, Last of Us, I could care less because I let these dudes talk me into buying Last of Us.
For like $15, you got it.
I got it for cheap. No, I'm not saying it didn't hurt me or anything. I got games. I got way more expensive games that I bought that I wish I hadn't. So it's not nothing like that. It's just that it wasn't just you guys. Everybody talked Last of Us up, and I went out and bought it. And after a few hours, I was bored as fuck. It's just not a game for me. So Last of Us 2 wasn't ever going to do anything for me watching it. And I'm kind of wary of that whole setup when they show a game and it's like, it's like, oh my god, it's so intense, and you go and play that game, play that scene in the game, and it's like it wasn't like that. So
if you got to the later stages, and it plays just very similar to that, what they showed as far as like the intensity.
So yeah, I think maybe they should have saved that for the end. Maybe it wouldn't have been as awkward if they would have just saved that game for the end. But whatever, it wouldn't have mattered. Okay, and so you got Ghost of got me saying 2 now. Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know about studying Japanese and all that. I just talked to my wife's grandmother who's Japanese, so I learned from that.
But then that in Japan they say 2. It's what they say in the words tsunami. That's what they say.
Yeah, well,
tsunami doesn't have a T in it though.
Yeah, it does.
Tsunami, you're not pronouncing the T.
Again, I don't know about.
Yeah, you are. What do you mean?
I don't know about proper Japanese. None of that stuff. I'm just telling you. She never said it that way, so that's just how I'm rolling. So anyway, that game. I mean, I'm not hyped for it. I just thought it looked pretty. I thought the art style was really nice. Like, because you see these types of games from Sony all the time, and they all kind of look similar. And that was my biggest problem with this show, is that all the games kind of look similar outside of Spider-Man, even though they were very different. You had the over-the-shoulder third-person, photorealistic kind of stuff going on, and that's what Sony's good at, and people love it, and that's fine. That's just not something that gets me excited. But I just thought visually it was more impressive than the stuff you usually see coming out of that kind of art style. So, or those types of games. So that's why I was on that. But I'm sure, well, I'm not gonna say I'm sure. I just feel like I might end up getting bored with that game, because I don't think, it's not like it's gonna be a big exploration game. I don't even know why a game like that would need to be open world. unless they're doing something really interesting. But anyway, so yeah, the pacing was just awful. And I didn't care for many of the games, and I'm still maintaining. I feel like there's a weird kind of hype around Spider-Man. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I would never say that. I think it's a good game, but to me, it's just like, okay, it's at the end of the day, it's a superhero licensed video game, and I can't get overly excited for that. Outside, like for me, Batman made more sense because you do like detective work, you do stuff like that. Spider-Man is going to be mostly combat. You'll get some story elements, some cut scenes, but it's going to be mostly combat. Go here, do this. I played Spider-Man 1 and 2. I feel like this is going to be a kind of a evolution of that. I don't see it being. It's not going to be as deep to me as an Arkham City or something like that would be, because you get more into the darker story elements. You do the detective work. That's what made that game cool for me, not just the combat. You know, the combat was cool, but the other stuff, the world of, you know, just being in Gotham was more interesting to me than, you know, swinging around in New York City.
I don't know how I feel about this. They said their number one decision was, is he swinging? Does his webbing have to attach to a building for him to swing? And they said yes. So there's no more just shooting up into the sky and swinging.
Yeah, like I said, evolution. It's going to be an evolution of what
it looks a lot like a lot of it's shooting at an object on the ground and like him pulling himself forward. Like I kind of wish I could just swing freely and not have it be a struggle to get around, but maybe that's what they decided. So I didn't even mention that game because to me it's always looked like an Arkham wannabe type of game, and I never really loved that combat system. So
yeah, I mean, it's gonna, for me, what I'm seeing is gonna be an Arkham style of video game without the deeper elements that I liked about Arkham, which is like the gadgetry and all that stuff that made the game cooler, and the basically the RPG elements when you get in your new weapons, and like that's not gonna happen. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna happen to some degree in Spider-Man. You're gonna get maybe some different ability or something further you go along, but that was the stuff that made that superhero game like rise above any other superhero game that I played. So
well, that's the thing actually, because it's true what you say. When people play Batman, they expect to do the detective work, you know, and because, you know, Batman, to me, he's like a hero. He doesn't have superpowers, and Spider-Man, people expect to web sling, and that's why I'm excited for it, because you have the open city web slinging done as best as can compared to older games, and that's the thing.
What I'm saying is I don't understand the overexcitement for this. It seems like there's an overexcitement for this game that I'm not really understanding, because like I said,
people claiming it's already game of the year. I've already seen people claim
right. Like Batman was different, because Batman games before that game was just like punch, you know, and run through some levels and punch and kick people. So that was the difference with the Arkham games. It made it more exciting, was that you had all that extra stuff, the Batman stuff that made Batman cool. And you know, we like Spider-Man because he's funny and he has his abilities are cool. But outside of that, to me, like I could be wrong, maybe some other people like other things about him, but outside of that, for me, like there's not a whole lot of game there outside of the combat and the swinging, which I had, you know, back in 2002. So I'm again, it's whatever. Like people can be excited for what they want. I'm just saying, for me, it didn't work as much. So my score for the overall conference is, I can't give them a 7 because there's another company I gave a 7, and I think they were just slightly under that. So I'm gonna give them a 6.9.
All right, so we gotta get on to Nintendo and their Smash Direct. So let's go to Robert first. What's your take?
God damn, it was disappointing. I mean, honestly, though, it was like overall, it was disappointing. I loved the Smash stuff, obviously, but like it didn't have to be a Smash Direct. And I know they don't want to show stuff, like they said they don't want to show Metroid over and over again. Fine, but like at this point, if you're grasping for straws for games that you maybe want to show, just show. Screw it. Like, you can't show Yoshi again? Really? Like, come on. You could show a trailer, toss in a trailer.
That tells me Yoshi's going to be out after next year's E3. Otherwise, there's no reason not to show it.
That's true. Also, yeah, that is pretty damn true. It's bizarre because it's like it's just weird. Like, how are you gonna like? We know they're making games, but they for some reason don't want to show it. I don't know why. It's weird, and I get because they say they don't want to tease it over and over again. But it's like if you're 20, what is it like? What was it like? 24 minutes out of 40, or was it an hour? I don't know. I think it was like 40 minutes. The direct.
It was 42 minutes and some change.
And like over half of that was Smash.
25 point something.
25 minutes. Yeah.
And like I love Smash, and it was so fun. You know, I played as Ridley. He's awesome. All that type of shit. It was cool. But it's like at the same time, there are so many other games you have, and you know you have them, but you just don't want to show them for some reason. And I just don't get it. And it made for a weird direct that in the beginning was pretty damn strong, I thought. And you know, he had the Super Mario Party and stuff. I was like,
first 2 minutes.
Yeah, they showed off Super Mario Party. I was like, all right, that's cool, you know, and stuff like that. And the how do you pronounce it? It's like
Damon X Machina.
Looks cool, you know. Like there's like certain ones like that look pretty damn cool. You know, they had Fire Emblem was delayed, whatever. What are you gonna do, you know? But like, it's just weird that they were like, no, you know what? We're just not gonna show anything. We're only showing Smash. That's it. We're gonna cut this in half and I mean, maybe they could have split it. Regardless, it would have added up to, you know, all Smash. It's weird. I thought it was pretty disappointing. They could have showed more stuff, and you know, my highlight was Smash Brothers. And my score, I'm gonna give it a 7.
All right, let's go Terrell next. I watched your live reaction yesterday, by the way, and it was actually interesting to see the direct again without the expectations. I came away with a different feeling.
Someone's about to get arrested.
They're coming to get you, bro.
We'll get you.
They're
gonna steal your virginity.
That's
you,
Robert. Yeah, in my background, they out here.
Hey man,
you see how
I told you to mess with them underage girls again. I told you.
Gotta quickly get the girl out of your closet, bed, hide her somewhere else.
You see how I assumed that was Terrell's background? That shit is
racist. Wow, look at this racial profile, guys.
Well, Robert's in New York area, so
he's in Jersey.
I'm gonna get shot up in here. Anyways, I think Robert kind of hit it. It was disappointing as fuck. Now, granted, the games that I personally cared about the most, I got to see, but I have to be objective because I'm excited for the Xenoblade 2 DLC. But just like I would argue for some of the other conferences, I don't think you need to show DLC in a fucking press conference. That feels like a Treehouse thing, especially for Nintendo. That felt like a Treehouse thing, which was funny because they showed it in Treehouse anyway. So it was like, that didn't need to be in the conference. Damon X Mechina looks cool. I don't know. That was kind of a weird way to start because of the way that trailer was set up. I just think it was a weird trailer, but the game does look cool. Fire Emblem was one of the main games I wanted to see, and I saw it, and it was great. Shit looks good as fuck. I didn't see enough of it, and it comes out next year. God damn it! And even some of their low tier announcers like, oh yeah, by the way, Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming to fucking Switch, and I've seen gameplay of it. Runs at 1080p, 60 frames. I pre-ordered that bitch. That's getting bought day one. It's like it wasn't like there wasn't stuff there, and then Smash obviously in itself, it's like, oh, I got a release date. It comes out this year. Even Mario Party seems to be on a better grind because it's back to a board formula, and it comes out in October. It has some online, which, you know, but it's just like Nintendo's biggest problem with me wasn't even their presentation. It was the lack of shit. It was just like, you have more. We know you have more, but you're not showing us more. So like literally my only real problem with Nintendo is that you didn't show me enough. Which is why I would say, I think I gave Microsoft a 7, so I probably would give like Nintendo like a 6.5. Because realistically, it's primarily just because of the lack of new stuff you showed. That's my biggest issue with that direct.
All right, T, what did you think?
Well, if you really want my thoughts, you're gonna have to watch my video, Nintendo Direct.
I fucking dare
Deep
you!
dive into disappointment that just went up. Is live.
I fucking know it!
No, but just to give you a highlight reel of what I said in that video, that you still should go watch on your own, is basically what everybody else is saying. Like, it was extra disappointing to me because after seeing them open with a Damon Cross Machina or Damon X Machina, after seeing them open with that, I was like, well, damn, we didn't even know about that game. And they're opening the show with that? This is going to be crazy. No, it ain't. And it just, for me, it just started to slowly slide after that. Like, obviously there were some ups after that. But even the ups were like janky because we got Fire Emblem, right? And the surprise about Fire Emblem that, nope, you ain't getting it this year. Bye, Felicia. And it was just like, oh, well, that's not what I was expecting. So that was weird. And then, we got Mario Party, and there was this up and down about, is it going to be online or not? We didn't know that. We should know that. We should know that in a direct. Tell us. That should be a priority for you to let us know that there's going to be some online multiplayer in that game, because it should be. But we went away not knowing. To me, this direct was very much like the Wii U scared direct, where it's just like stuff would happen like Mario Party, and you're like, oh, is it going to be like the last one, not only local? And then you got like, oh, the secrecy. Oh, this feels like the Wii U days when you didn't get a whole lot, and we're not getting a lot because there isn't a lot to come or to show. So that's why people were like apprehensive and worried coming out of the show. You're supposed to blow it open, I think, the next year, regardless of what people's expectations were as far as your E3. Your console is selling like hotcakes, arguably the hottest console out there, and you come to E3 with kind of a dud conference. Like, to me, that's why it didn't work. And you can say, well, E3 isn't what it used to be, and you'd be right in many ways. I mean, look what Sony did. I mean, come on. So it's just like, but even with that, you got the hottest shit out. Like, people threw dirt on your grave after Wii U. Nintendo's a wrap. They're gonna be going third party. You come out and you prove everybody wrong with a console that was never supposed to work. Underpowered, gimmicky hybrid console. Didn't matter. You're smashing with that, and then all you give us is a Smash Direct. Just to me, that's why it didn't work as a whole. Like, was I excited for what I saw? Yes, I love Smash. Everybody loves Smash, but at the end of the day, it's Smash. We didn't need 25 minutes on that because we know you're gonna blow it out anyway during the treehouse. Like, and they did. So. And I think I talked in my video about, because I heard people saying, well, they had to do that because people were thinking it was a port. And there's always talk about it being a port. And you know what? They showed 25 minutes of it and people still said it was a port. So what did you accomplish? Nothing. So that was my biggest gripe. But I know, like, the Switch, and Juice, you're valid. Like, what you're talking about as far as, like, you're saying about at least the first party stuff this year this is definitely a down year for first party stuff.
Kind of validated. I hate to be right there, but
yeah, you were right. You were right. Like, I was holding out, hoping that we get, because I was thinking at least up until now that Prime 4 was going to be this year. The Nintendo I know wouldn't have even showed that little graphic if that game wasn't they
didn't. I mean,
close.
Last year the Switch was already on a high. You had these Odyssey. They didn't need to show Metroid Prime 4 last year. This year they could have announced it, and then, but they went.
Or I didn't. I meant to say this in my video, but I think I said it in Jay's podcast. We had a podcast on Jay Fleming's channel, and I said, you know what they should have done last year instead of show that graphic of Metroid Prime 4? They should have announced Metroid Samus Returns in the E3 thing, and then in the treehouse said, by the way, we're working on Prime 4. That would have been way smarter to me. A way cooler thing to do, because people wouldn't be anticipating. You wouldn't have to worry about people anticipating something from Prime 4 this year because you didn't show anything. Even if it was just a little graphic, I still think it would.
Say that.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's exactly what they did with Pokemon, though. They said they showed nothing, not even logo. They said we're making it, and people are still crying today.
What we got. But they said Pokemon would be ready in a year. They said it. They said that. So people had the right to expect Pokemon this year because they said Pokemon is about a year away.
Well,
They said
that, you don't think that's Let's Go Pikachu?
Yeah, that's what they were talking about, but we didn't know.
Well, we don't know. Who knows if that was their plan? Like maybe they were hoping to have the other one ready.
Yeah,
And
they might have changed it.
Who knows? But
very possible.
So let's have Retro. Why don't you go give your take?
Oh, my grade is a 7.
Good.
I give him a 7.
Damn. Okay, so for me, like you know me, I like my metal and shit, and and I like my mechs. So the opening of this, it just blew me away. It was holy fucking shit. Like Robotech on the GameCube, I love that game. This mech shit, you get this fucking aggressive music. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for this, and that's kind of where everything for me ended. You get some fucking Xenoblade 2 DLC. Okay, sure, whatever. You gotta sell that. You got Mario Party, which I like Mario Party, and I like that it felt like old school Mario Party again. But at this point, really, I think it was T who said it in this thing. I don't remember. Somebody said like, "Who cares still at this point?" About Mario Party. And then people say like, there's all these excuses. People say like, yeah, but Nintendo said we're gonna focus on 2018, and E3 is not E3. That kind of shit. But you can bring something. First of all, they showed Fire Emblem, they showed Demon X Machina. Those are 2019 games, so don't give me that excuse that it's 2018. I don't buy that shit, And then you get this quick little reel, Okay, Smash was 25 fucking minutes. You get 17 minutes of characters, and then you get like 8 minutes of this button jumps and this button is a shield, and this is how your shield works. Meanwhile, you had this reel where you showed like Dragon Ball Z Super, for example. Why didn't you take time out of those 25 minutes to show a trailer for that? Give time, like afterwards, they uploaded a trailer somewhere, like my friend Pedro. That game looked fucking bonkers. That looked insane. Like this Matrix Deadpool shit. It looked beautiful. It looked so much fun to play. Why wasn't that in there? You had like the age rating of like 18 at the beginning of this, so it's not because of that. And yet, like you guys said, Starlink wasn't even shown at all. Nintendo has. I don't even need Animal Crossing. I never expected Metroid, but like you guys said, they have all these games, and nothing was there. Even shit we already knew that they have that they could have shown. Nothing was there. You get all that shit. And then people like say, oh, but I like Smash. Even if you take away everything we saw before Smash, you just take the Smash. You call it a Smash Direct. It was boring as fuck. Just even as a Smash Direct, who is gonna care for like 8 minutes? Seriously, I counted this time, not to over exaggerate. 17 minutes they focused on all the characters and shit, and there were good shit in there. I'm not gonna lie, I like Smash, but the DK Final Smash thing, I like all that stuff. Zelda's design, I love all that shit. But then you get still 8 minutes of to hit these 2 buttons and you jump differently. 8 fucking minutes of that shit, and I'm like, no. And what makes this worse for me is that I like Smash. I'm gonna love this game, but I've said it before several times in previous podcasts. This game became exactly 100% what I did not want it to be. So with all of that together, the only company I give a worse grade, we didn't grade it, was EA. Nintendo gets a 3 for me, and that's a positive high 3.
Oh my god. Retro Death strikes again.
So, like I said, I rewatched it, watching Terrell's reactions, and kind of I'll just walk you through it was like 16 minutes until Takahashi came on to kind of talk, and then they went into Smash. That 16 minutes to me was I was completely happy with everything I was seeing, but I was expecting a few more bigger things coming, the intro, Demon X Machina, the music, like definitely I can get into some heavy metal kind of industrial rock. I was loving that. As a Xenoblade fan, I was glad they showed, the DLC's got a name and it's going to take place on Torna. That's cool. Didn't get me super pumped or anything. Mario Party, can't get excited for that, but at least I was like, hey, at least it looks like you said, some of the Mario parties of old, maybe they're going to get this one right, like they got Mario Tennis right, and then we got Fire Emblem, which the first second I seen that overhead and I was like, this looks like a 3DS game in HD. I was about to rip on it, and then the camera zooms in to the battlefield and you see the characters attacking and it was so awesome. So I was blown away by Fire Emblem. Like, I'm super excited to play that game now. Where I was kind of saying it was going to be underwhelming, it over delivered for me. So I'm like, yeah, this is good. Then, oh, by the way, here's Fortnite out today. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a multi-plat, but the fact that, hey, it's out right now, that's cool. Hollow Knight, game I've been waiting for like a year. Been waiting to play the Switch version. Give it a little shine. They gave it, what, a minute, 2 minutes, talk about it. Oh, yeah, by the way, that's out today. So I was like, oh, man, awesome. Sweet. Octopath, we're getting a new demo. Basically it's the beginning of the game. That's June 14th, so a couple days. I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot of good stuff happening. Sizzle reel. We get Dragon Ball Fighters. I was like, what the hell? Why didn't they have a trailer? That was so stupid of them just to have that a 3-second clip be the announcement of Dragon Ball Fighters. That makes no sense to me. That game was very popular, released earlier this year, coming out on Switch. I thought that should have got some shine. Starlink, Star Fox.
Because everybody wanted that game. Everybody was begging for it, and everybody was claiming it would never come.
We hadn't really seen much of Starlink gameplay. Like, why not have a mission of Fox playing, like, or something, and maybe cut it into a 3-minute reel or something. But either way, I was like, all right, this is cool stuff. I was like, man, there's a lot of games coming to Switch this year. A lot of third-party games. I got Crash. You got Starlink. You got Wolfenstein. You got all these couple games just came out. I'm thinking, wow, this is good. Now we just let's see what Yoshi's going to look like. Let's see, Metro, something big coming. And that was it. That was moved on. You got Takahashi, who, he's been involved in a ton of awesome games like Wave Race. I thought, okay, I didn't know that him at that point. I was like, I can't remember who this guy. I know he got a promotion, but I was like, he's not the new president, so why is he talking? But I'm thinking, all right, we're gonna get some big games now. Never happened. I see Smash, and I'm like, all right, they didn't change the art style. It's Smash, but I was very interested in all the characters, and people are like, why didn't they do CGI, intros for these characters? But I think in their mind, the cool thing or the funny thing was like, okay, let's see what characters are returning, and then about halfway through, you realize, well, they're all returning. I think that's what they were going for, and it kind of worked for me and some other people, but I know others were missing like the epic reveal. This was like kind of a casual, nonchalant way to say, here's the characters, But I thought it was cool that all the characters are coming back, and I was really I stopped talking because I was like, oh, all right, I want to find out more about the movesets, but I was caught up in it at that moment. And then I thought about it later. I was like, yeah, that was kind of disappointing. Then I was watching Trell's reactions, and I was still like, that first 16 minutes, I was completely happy with, like the 8.5 to me, and then Smash looks great. So, but when you think about what they didn't show, and I realized later, I was like, oh man, they didn't show Yoshi. No Metroid. There's no Wave Race. There's no Animal Crossing. There's nothing else. And then that release date for Smash, December 7th, to me, like, that's basically a 2019 game. So I gotta give it like 7.5, I think, overall score wise. But Fire Emblem was actually the highlight for me, because Smash is Smash. Like, yeah, there's all these little tweaks, but it's still the same. It's still Smash Brothers. There's nothing surprising. So while it looks great, I love the character model improvements to basically every character, the new lighting, the stage Battlefield they showed, looks great. But still, it was Fire Emblem was my highlight, and find out Hollow Knight finally coming out was a cool announcement. So
it does, because I just wanted to say, because you are on Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem became everything I wanted it to be. I love it that when you went in there, you basically had armies fighting each other, and I love that. That looked amazing. I can't wait for that.
And someone saying, oh, they weren't ready to show Yoshi. They had a demo in the treehouse last year for Yoshi. Tell me they ain't ready to show Yoshi. Unless they went back to the drawing board and said, hey, needs to be a platformer again or something, and start it over. Like, how could they not be ready to show Yoshi when they had a demo last year? And so it was just the fact that I kind of predicted that would steal the shows. I thought some of the later levels and stuff when we saw them would just blow our minds, but we didn't see it. So
I mean, you can't say they weren't ready to show them because they showed, like, I saw at least an hour of footage.
Yoshi was like a 40-minute demo.
Yeah, last year. I was like, so how could it not be? That didn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
And like I said, maybe they decided to change it or something. Maybe they didn't like the direction it was going. Because remember Woolly World, the first time they showed a screenshot, and compared to the final game, it actually changed quite a bit. Like the background stuff was completely different. So, I mean, I think what the disappointing thing is Fire Emblem's delayed and Smash being so late in the year. I think if Smash was September and Fire Emblem was still this year, I think even though they're both shown and they did nothing different, but if those two games, if like I said, Smash coming earlier and Fire Emblem's coming this year, I think there'd be a lot of different opinions on the actual direct. I just
what's
think
funny about that Smash thing though is like you keep saying like it's kind of like sad that it's going to come so late, and they said it was going to be a game for this year. So when they did available, and I like, holy shit, it's going to be next month. It's going to be next month, like December. I'm like, what were you else expecting? How is it that they were pretending like there was like this massive reveal in December? It's like, come on, you didn't need to do that for that.
December, and that's another thing I find that's weird because even Nintendo doesn't like to give you a release date when it's 6 months away.
No,
like, they usually won't even. They'll say fall or winter or something. Like it's a surprise that they even gave us a date when it's that far away.
And I think
that's why I wasn't expecting it.
They gave the latest date they thought would still be able to have some sales before Christmas, and I think they're basically saying Sakurai, something's launching on December 7th. Do it. I wouldn't be surprised if they have to do what they did last time and put some of the other features and stuff out later. Don't be surprised if 2019 is when you're going to get the 20% plus of the rest of Smash, because they got to get the base game out. And I feel like the base game's already there. It's just all about balancing and just whatever single player modes they're doing. Really feel like that's all.
Melee?
It's sad because it proves my theory right from like early this year when I saw all the ports and stuff. I'm like, man, 2018 is looking kind of bleak from Nintendo. I'm not talking about for the Switch because there's a lot of games to play on the Switch, especially if you didn't have a Wii U. But the fact that it's Mario Tennis, Mario Party, and Smash, I think those are Nintendo's first party games from this point to the rest of the year. And they're publishing Octopath. And I think that's it.
Why are they publishing Octopath?
But I think they are. But anyway,
because fuck Square sometimes. That's why.
Here's the one last thing, and we'll talk more about this probably next week. Last year, me and Retro were debating. Retro debated with OJ. I was making comments to him like, dude, like this E3, where's all the third party support and stuff? Like, why isn't he made all these excuses and stuff? So, but we saw a lot of third-party games. We know of a lot of third-party games coming out. Panic Button comes out, yesterday or a couple days ago? Their next game announcement's probably coming next year or next month. Like, why? I don't know. Maybe they just really want to have the hype continue throughout this year. Maybe they want some games to be announced and released like Doom was last year. Like, I don't know if there was any others that actually came out last year.
You know what I think? I think in many ways this is like reverse Wii U. It's like Nintendo led with third parties on the Wii U, and that was a disaster. Like that was not what they should have done. They had to drive the install base themselves. And this time they drove that install base with first party games for the Switch. And now it's like, all right, now that you guys see we have a viable platform, third parties come do some stuff now. And they're not quite where they should be, because you have companies like Bandai Namco that was like, oh man, we screwed up. We missed the boat a little bit. And so I think that's why you're getting Wii U ports and you're getting a lot more third party this year than you had last year, because they're like, all right, this is going to be our down year. We're going to let third parties do some stuff, make some money, and continue to prove that Switch is a viable platform for them. And then 2019 is going to be disgusting for Nintendo first party. So I guess that's the upside. 2019 is going to be sick when it comes to Nintendo first party games.
I got high hopes.
Yeah, I remember our anticipation for this. We really thought Nintendo was gonna deliver, in folds. So that actually adds to the disappointment.
And I'm glad I had my hype level at a 7.
Yeah, Terrell was definitely the only realistic one. So, FIFA 19. FIFA 19 is confirmed and be able to play with your friends online. So there's a
hey, let's go.
Bringing up no damn FIFA in this podcast no more.
Congratulations.
Mega Man 11's coming out. You got Wolfenstein. You got
Resident Evil 2 remake.
Never mind. The Monster Hunter 3DS game. Crash. Wolf. There's.
I'm buying at least 4 games this month, so I'm good to go.
Paladins came out. Fortnite's a big game that's out. There's stuff on the system. But Panic Buttons game. What do you guys? You got any thoughts? Apparently they're announcing it next month. And anybody have any guesses or thoughts on why if it's a big game, why wouldn't that be at E3? And is it okay? Are we going to forget about this once we get later in the year and some big games get announced and come out like last year? I mean,
clearly it's GTA 5.
Really?
No, I'm not serious.
I'm thinking it's Fallout 4, but that's.
I'm hoping for that duo. Yeah, I'm thinking that. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I could see it being Fallout 4.
I honestly, I would prefer, not because I think it's a better game, but I think there would be more hype behind it, and a lot more people would buy this game again. I think GTA 5 would be a more commercial, a better commercial bet, but the gamer bet would obviously be Fallout 4. So if they were going for that commercial appeal, it would be Grand Theft Auto 5.
And GTA 5, Rockstar never announces anything at E3, so
yeah,
possible. I mean, it's not a terrible theory, and I do think it would actually that would get more people excited than Fallout.
Yeah, I think it would get more people excited.
You get GTA fans like thinking, "Oh man, I gotta buy a Switch now." That's how they are.
Who doesn't want a portable? Like, it's just crazy to even have a portable version of that game. So,
and no mention of Nintendo Switch Online either during the direct. Like, not even nothing.
Because it's so embarrassed about how Fortnite exposed their.
and the Treehouse really didn't have a whole lot to show either, and it's like, come on, they didn't show Dragon Ball Fighters. They showed a couple games like Daemon X Machina, which actually didn't impress me that much seeing the game in play. But I think the Treehouse didn't really, because I mean, seeing Smash over and over is not the same as seeing Mario Odyssey. This is what you can do now. This is what Mario's movesets are. Like, to me, that has way more interest than a Smash game. It's like Street Fighter, We know what Street Fighter's going to be. We know what Ryu's move's going to be. So to have them constantly show Smash, I just felt like it's not the right type of game for that format.
And it doesn't make sense because anybody worried about Smash selling? No. Not at all. But like some of these other games that they showed in the thing, yeah, you might be a little worried about how they would sell. So show them more.
I mean, they had Hollow Knight. They had the guys there talking. That was cool. But I mean, no mention. And I'm happy for this, but they didn't have Captain Toad there play. Like, that game's coming out. Like, you're releasing it. You're not going to put that at E3, at least for the people there. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah, not everybody played Captain Toad. He only sold 13-point-something million Wii U's, so that wouldn't have been out of place.
What other port? I guess there's no other ports we know.
That's the last one that we know.
Anybody have any Panic Button? Any thoughts? Any predictions?
Nah, I'm good.
You know what I hope they're doing? I hope they're doing Rabbids Go Home now.
I will go home after that.
All right. Do you think it'll be a 2018 game that they've ported?
Yes.
All right. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, nobody's complaining about the Wii ports that we're getting on. You come back on Wii U ports. What about the Wii ports? We'll be getting like World of Goo and what's that? What's that? Whatchamacallit resort
Sports
game?
Yeah.
Man, people like Wii though.
What's up with that?
No God in my Pokemon Ranch. What happened?
Man, get the fuck out. Fuck you, Robert. That's
Let's
all
just
I'm
say
saying.
this though.
The Blob and shit like that.
Yeah,
This
come
man
on.
said, Pokemon Red, get the fuck out of here.
2018
dare
is
you.
definitely the year of the fighting game on the Switch, though.
That's true.
Every major game, plus I see
Oh
some
yeah.
say. I'm saying it's just it's got all the other systems have it except for Smash. I'm like, yeah, that's having Smash plus everything else is pretty. I mean,
Rise of Red Grunt 34. Good point. Mario Maker. I'm a little surprised that there was no mention of a Mario Maker.
yeah, I mean,
Maybe there's a Mario Maker 2.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
well, yeah. I at this point I wouldn't expect a port. Well, who knows?
Yeah, like
unless
that'd
they
be
could
kind
make
of weird.
the gyroscoping pointer be a. I mean, that would be the only way that would work on the TV, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah,
to
I
be able to
agree,
make
though.
the levels efficiently, because I mean, if you could adjust the sensitivity to get what you like, I think the gyro sensing, because it's worked as a pointer on PS4 for typing, and on PC with the Pro controller hooked in, it works. It treats your gyro like a mouse pointer, and it works really good. So they
And
could.
even like World the Goo, you know, you can use it.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Anybody expecting an N64 Mini?
That's
announcement?
for sure.
Nah, I didn't.
Wow,
think
for
so.
sure. Oh,
Not at
that'll-
E3, but I'm
Yeah,
saying.
No, I
that's
mean
gonna-
like within the coming weeks,
yeah,
months.
I would say within 2 months tops.
I don't see that. How was
Because the Super NES they announced a week after E3 last
Yeah.
year.
Oh, you know what that means? It's gonna be here in a few days. Then.
Well, the
So,
NES, aren't they re-releasing that? Yeah,
They're
NES Classic
re-releasing
Mini.
Yeah, the Super NES. No, the NES. Yeah.
Yeah, the original NES Classic Mini.
Okay. I mean, I didn't really talk much about it. I think Smash looks great. I love that all the characters are coming back, which,
Looks phenomenal.
other than Snake, I'm happy about.
Kojima overrated like a mother.
And it's, I mean, at least it's a good Snake, from the better games. I feel the first game, the GameCube remake, and I don't know, everything after that's pretty much trash in my opinion. But
What would be on the Mini? Are you serious?
they'd have to work with Microsoft to get some of the
Mm.
bigger ones.
Man, you sleep. Even without those, there's still some good stuff you can put on there.
All right. There's a ton of games, but as far as like, I think I think Rare makes a good chunk of them.
Well, no doubt about it. Like, you'd be missing a big chunk if you didn't have some of those Rare games there, for sure. Like those were part of the Nintendo 64.
Because they can't even do GoldenEye because they can't.
Can't do GoldenEye. Can't do Perfect Dark. Can't do Banjo. You can't do Killer. You can't do a lot of that stuff.
So basically, Mario 64, Star Fox 64, the 2 Zelda games, Wave Race,
Mario Tennis, Mario Party, Mario P-Cross, Mario
Yoshi's Story, probably.
Yoshi Story, yeah. There's some stuff you could throw in there.
I don't think that you're not just people need to realize there's gonna be less games with each one of these they do.
There's third party. Don't forget, there's third party. They have third party games on
but
there.
the Super NES had less than the NES as far as games total, right? It was like a cut.
Yeah, the Super NES is 21.
I think the N64, I would be shocked if it's over 16, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be 15, probably.
But I would expect that within a month, that announcement. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think E3 was a little bit of a down year compared to the last couple for me, and mostly because of Nintendo. But and the Treehouse wasn't as interesting. I didn't spend time, like, I would just wait 2 hours so I could fast forward before I start. Last couple years I'm watching it live, and I couldn't wait. This year I was like, I'll wait a couple hours, play some Rocket League and Fortnite, and then so I can fast forward to the Mario Party stuff, and then the Smash for the 5th time. So it was just overall wasn't that exciting of a year for me as a viewer. Anyone else got thoughts on E3 as a whole? I guess it'll be your final thoughts. Let's start with Terrell.
I'm ready to go. I'm hungry. I don't have any more final thoughts. I thought I was relatively disappointed overall with all the conferences. So I'm done.
Robert.
So the conferences weren't, I don't think, up to par with some of last year's and stuff like that. But E3 itself was damn awesome.
What about Nintendo's booth though? It seemed kind of lame compared to the last couple of years.
No, yeah, no. Well, that's the thing is that's another thing is the Nintendo's booth specifically. Their booth was not really even designed. I'd say it was just they had a big screen that would play like trailers from Pokemon to Smash to the like basically all the direct trailers, and then they'd maybe show a game of Smash. Like it wasn't designed, which is a total shame because I thought maybe then how I mean I guess they wouldn't really put a Smash design, but they did have like little like objects from
Well,
each
the floor
character.
was,
but like it was still really cool at E3 because other people had a lot of designs.
yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raiders looked
Shadow of the Tomb Raiders designs was crazy. It's weird that was kind of like the better ones, but Nintendo didn't really do anything, which is weird because the last 2 years, at least the 2 years, you had Zelda and you had the New Donk City, which was awesome. But I don't know. Hopefully next year it'll be a design of Metroid or something. I don't know. I do hope they go back to the designs because it was when they do the designs, they do it so top notch. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can't go all out 2 years in a row and then just Switch is doing good. We don't need to.
Exactly. So
talk to any girls while you're there? Any women?
Can we not do this?
Nah. I was just myself. I would just walk around and I'd go on the lines and I'd play some.
How's that Naomi doing?
I did see her and she was looking good. You saw a lot of people there, like in terms of YouTubers and stuff, and it was pretty cool seeing, or even developers, like you'd see him online, you're like, oh shit, that's him in real life, and it's not them smiling to a camera, it's just them casually walking with a normal face. It's different, you know what I mean? And so I think it's pretty damn cool, and I still love D3. It was awesome, and it was cooler because I did go to the press conference, but I enjoyed it, and hopefully next year I could get to more press conferences if that's possible. It was really damn good though. I enjoyed it a lot.
All right, Retro, how was E3 as a whole, and anything else you want to throw out there?
Yeah, it's just like it's weird when you always look forward to E3 and then the companies you look forward to, like Square and Nintendo, they let you down so much, and the shit that is gonna let you down, like Xbox and Ubisoft, are actually the more fun experiences to watch. Like it's hard to get over that, and I'm like you, where the Treehouse is something I look forward to the most, and it's like you said, there was nothing there, and it was so boring. And every time I put it on, they were doing Smash, and then you get like fucking half an hour of them showing Kirby eating Ridley. It's like fuck off with that, and it's like I had fun. It was E3. And it was like I said, I was surprised by the fact that I was expecting just from this is Nintendo, man. Come on, people say like, yeah, but that's what you get when you get your hopes up, man. I don't have a lot of hopes, and I said like my hype level was at 50, because like I don't ask for much, Cut the Smash shit in half, give me one surprise, and no way would have given Nintendo a 3. So I'll just keep it at that.
All right, T.
Yeah, overall, I think E3 was disappointing. Obviously, there were highlights in Ubisoft's conference for me and Bethesda's, but overall, I just feel like maybe this is finally the time, or maybe it was just a down year. Who knows? Maybe it was just a down year, and you can't look too hard into it as being like some kind of narrative or what to expect from E3 going forward. But this year was definitely disappointing on pretty much all sides. So. Yeah, that's all I got to say.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I forgot we didn't really talk about Square. I didn't even watch that one, but I think
you didn't miss much. Is all I'm gonna say.
I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the trailer and the gameplay I watched, I forgot to talk about earlier. Is like, man, I'm excited to play that. Like, I'm a fan of the first and Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I thought this looks even better, so I'm excited for that. There's games I'm excited for in 2018, but man, there's a lot of February 2019 games. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, like not just at E3, but you got Days Gone, you got there's Ubisoft games, big games, and it seems like a lot of them come out in February. So it's kind of a bummer because I was after last year the Switch doing so good, and I'm like, I still haven't bought a physical game for my Switch in 2018, and Mario Tennis changes that on Friday, which I'm excited for, but I don't think that's gonna carry me to Smash. I know it's not gonna carry me to Smash. Like there's in Mario Party, I'm gonna skip. So it's just the more the bummer, like I said earlier, is just the release date for Smash, and no other games from Nintendo for me coming out in 2018. So I think all those factors are what's got me bummed out. But I'm absolutely loving Hollow Knight. Retro Death, you praised the game. I thought about getting it a few times on Steam, but I was like, you know what? I'm waiting for the Switch. Comes out, it's $15. They don't even charge, 20 or 25, 30 for some of these indie games now. And it is literally as good of a Metroidvania. It's like Super Metroid level of good for me. Like it's Ori and the Blind Forest. It's probably better in the gameplay department. It's a phenomenal game. If you like those types of games at all and you haven't played Hollow Knight, I mean, it's a no-brainer on the Switch. It looks great on the screen. It looks great in portable mode. Controls are perfect. Like you couldn't ask for more precise controls in a 2D game like that. Art style, music, everything's 10. I mean, that's a 10 out of 10. And I'm 6 hours in. Can't imagine it getting the score going down from here. It's so good. So it's hard to be mad at E3 and not be watching the Treehouse because I was playing Hollow Knight and I was really enjoying it. So great game. It's I can't give it my game of year 2018 because it's not a 2018 title, but man, it's probably be the best game I played this year. So that's I'm promoting Hollow Knight. I'm not getting paid. Didn't get a free copy, a review copy. I bought it with my own money, but it's a great game. And so next week we'll be back, and who knows, maybe we'll be talking about the N64 Classic Mini Edition or some major update to the Switch. But in the meantime, everybody have a good week, and we'll see you next time.